Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our weekly stock market analysis. This is an overall analysis on S&P 500, QQ, Bitcoin, as well as the Mag 7. So we're looking over at sentiment data, dark pool data, as well as many other data. And before we get into the technical charts, let's go to the data. Feel free to skip ahead. The data, if you guys, technical charts, if you guys want to skip it, the data. All right, so sector data is exactly as last week. We saw this every sector being in the green except the energy sectors, which is exactly what the bulls want to see, which is the complete opposite of what we've been seeing prior 3 weeks ago, other than last week, of course. So yeah, no signs of red flags for me in terms of the bull side. You can see the most important sector, XLK, technology, the biggest market cap weightings in S&P 500 is green, bright green. So no signs of red flag for me. Second largest sector, XLF, right, 2.5% up. So no big deal at all for me at the moment. All right, so let's look at fear and greed index. We came from extreme fear from last week. So usually when extreme fear is great buyer opportunity. When it confluences with the ASML data, it was in the 50s for many weeks. So that kind of showed us that the bottom was potentially in. I know we were only down by 7%. SPY was holding really well due to the rotations of different sectors. But overall, what the clue that a lot of the clues that gave me was the semiconductor sector showing signs of bottom. We'll take a look over in that NVDA in a second. When we go over the charts, let's go to dark pools. So dark pools for this week, I'm going to talk about IGV, which is the software sector. I know it's been hammered down due to Anthropics and Claude, right? Taking over SaaS, all that kind of stuff, fear. So it's been pretty much in you could call it a bear market if you want, but we just broke these lows, even the tariff lows, and all this triple bottom support just this week. So for me, is this going to be one of those where price action where it breaks the bottom, right, stops everyone out, everyone and their grandma's going to have their stop loss below here, and here, this triple bottom area. And if this breaks down, which is already did, what the bulls want to see is a reversal early next week. And that would likely potentially mark the bottom of that move. On top of that, if the market continues to go higher, money's going to trickle into these names. So currently we are below the dark pool for number 1, 3, 7, and 8. So let's see how it resolves itself in the next couple of weeks. And if this starts to bounce, right, the whole software sector is going to give more fuels to the Qs, right, which means it's going to help the Qs go to all-time highs. But for me, overall, earnings is going to be more important. But another article of this we talked about last week, right? If oil starts topping out, then that's going to be a sign for the market to bounce. And after this 40 print come in on USO here, we are currently trading below it, right around this this level here. So that's a good sign for the market, right? Although it's still in an uptrend, right? We want to see more downside on the oil for more relief. Still pretty high in the 100s, 30s. So we'll see how it goes for next week. And those earnings, right, kick off the season with financials and a couple semiconductor sectors. And so most important for me, this earnings is, earnings going to hold up. If they do, there's a good chance we are going to hit all-time highs. If they start, if these earnings all come in really well. So let's see how it goes. Right, we have ASML, which is a semiconductor company. So that gave us more insights to the SMH sector, which has been literally been rocketing for the last 5 days, entire week. Every day was green. So semiconductor is the fuel for the Qs. So let's see if they perform. So as well as TSM will give us a lot of insights into semiconductors. So these two are going to be key for me overall. And then of course the financials. All right, let's take a look at economic data. So not much economic data this week, right? Just PPI, some initial job claims, and that's about it for me. That's going to be more important, just these ones here. All right, let's get into the charts. So this week is a little bit more of a kind of like a short squeeze, right? We have been going in a downtrend, reject, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower highs, lower low, right? Lower highs, lower low. And then once we got to this level, which we were talking about this last week, even though it was a nice bounce, and we made a higher low here, so that was nice, right? This is the first time we've seen a big enough bounce and a higher low, right? Every time we bounced here, it kind of just went lower, right? Tiny bounce and went lower, tiny bounce went lower. So when we talked about last week saying this is the first time we got a big enough space and the bulls bought the higher low, right? This is the time where it's the highest chance that it can confirm a uptrend because of the price action. And then, right, this Wednesday kind of just short squeeze everybody out. You can see the bears were trying to play defense here because if it didn't go over this level, it would have been still a lower high, right? It could have still been a lower high here, right? This was the last pivot. Even though it was a nice bounce, it could have still been a lower high, and the bears could have potentially made a lower low. But after this overnight news, it literally squeezed every bear out, right? You're like, next thing you know, you wake up in the morning, you're down, 2.5% just from the market itself, right? And you squeeze above all the levels and it confirmed a daily uptrend at the same time, right? This is the initial move. This is the higher low, right? When this gapped up, it went all above all these levels. That means it's a higher high. So that's a daily uptrend confirmed at the same time, squeezing all these pivots out all from all these levels. So that shorts literally have to cover, up here, right? Imagine you shorting, let's say up here, right? Let's say you nailed the top, this quadruple top or whatever, right? You absolutely nailed the top. You did it amazing. You place your stop loss right here, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna walk my stop down on every lower high. So you walk your stop down here, right? You waited for what? It was this, say short of here, February all the way to March. So you waited for like almost 2 months, and you're like, okay, this is looking good. And this bounces, you're like, okay, this is still another lower high, so I'm just gonna put my stop loss over here, right? And then next thing you know, this thing gaps out 2.5% and wipes out like almost your entire gain, and then you stopped out pretty much over here very close, right? So that's kind of like a little bit of a short squeeze here because of this gap, essentially, right? If it had like poked above and then you're like, okay, I stopped out here, that's fine. That wouldn't be as short of a squeeze versus everybody kind of having to cover up here for the shorts. So yeah, so right now, really no signs of red flags for me on the bull side, right? This is a monthly. We talk about this being the monthly higher low, right? We zoom out to this terrible low. This is one monthly move, right? This is all one monthly move. And this was the monthly consolidation. And this being daily oversold, marking the monthly higher low. That's why multiple time frame analysis is so important, because you don't want to just look at one time frame. Even though this is a daily downtrend, but this is a monthly uptrend, looking for that monthly higher low. So hence the favoring the bull side, essentially, right? When you have higher time frames favoring the bull side, lower time frames don't get much follow through, especially on the especially on the shorter time frames. If you guys want to learn about technical analysis, feel free to book that 15-minute free call with me, and more for going in depth. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue with QQ. So similar idea, right? After the breakout of that gap here, you can see it is downtrend, and then we just broke out of that downtrend as well as the lower high and lower lows, and we are pretty much right at the resistance line, right? This little structure here that has been building for about a month, right at the highs of this level. So there is some resistance here. I wouldn't be surprised if we come chill off a little bit, cool down, and make another higher low, and potentially wait for earnings. Kind of like a little bit chill, a little bit sideways here in these levels. And then if earnings start coming well, especially the Mag 7s, right, next thing you know, we are probably going to hit all-time highs. Is my take, but we'll have to really see how earnings come in. Yeah, let's talk about the Mag 7s, which is exactly the fuel of the market, which is the largest weightings in the Qs. All right, let's go to Bitcoin first before we go to the Mag 7s. So Bitcoin looking much better than prior. We did test the 66 low, 65, and it held, right? Held many times here. Bounce. Still not out of the woods yet, right? This is technically still sideways of the flag. This is a longer term looking bear flag. So yeah, we're down like 52%. We still haven't really broken out of this flag yet. But as a risk asset, it's looking better. When the market starts doing much better, money will rotate into risk assets. So this is exactly what you want to see, right? market being up and Bitcoin being up a little bit more than that because higher beta name. So what? To negate this bear flag look, just want to poke above 75, break above this, then we have a straight shot to this 80 level here. For the bears, it's gonna be a little bit tougher now because we're down 52%, and the market is starting to go higher. So it's a little bit tough to short here, and we held support on the 65. But for the bears, they really need to break the 65, 66 zone right here to get that follow through from that bear flag. You can see we are making these higher lows each time here. So higher lows and higher highs. Let's see if we can make this higher high here. That'll be great for the bulls. All right, let's take a look at Max Evans. So Max Evans here, Tesla really extremely weak. Zero signs of bounce, right? Market, it's like almost near all-time highs now, and Tesla did not even bounce, which makes sense, right? If technically wise, it's still lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We are coming into that 330 support that I talked about, saying it's very likely we're gonna tap it, right? Because it's not that much support here. You can see it's kind of just all these upper wicks. But when we start coming into this 330, 334, 337 zone, it's essentially the high of this structure, right? You can see a lot of volume traded here, a lot of volume traded here, a lot of volume traded here. So when we do come into the structure, likely getting some support, which is showing it a little bit right here, right? You can see this double bottom. But double bottom doesn't mean it's just gonna bounce, just like over here, right? It was double bottom, right? It bounced, but next thing you know, we're getting lower. So for me, if I do see a bounce here, I want to see a break above a prior lower high pivot to negate that downtrend, plus at least break this trend line, bare minimum, right? Bare minimum for me, at least break this trend line for me to even potentially look for a bull side. Right? We're not even that oversold, right? We are down. Kept talking about this. We are down 32%, but the RSI here, see, daily RSI, not even oversold. Weekly, not even oversold. 4 hours, not even oversold. So we're not even oversold, essentially, is what I'm saying. So this could still grind lower, but it's holding up slightly because the market is going up, right? If the market was going down bright red right now, this would have been making a leg down like this. We would be probably sitting at 300 by now. The Qs was down another 5%, but because the market's been ripping, it's helping it hold here. But it's still relative weakness at the moment. All right, so Meta, amazing V shape. Didn't break this last pivot over here. So it turns out I can still say that I didn't break the support. So this could still be a bigger kind of like tiny range when it goes like this. So we'll see how it trades. We are sitting right at resistance, right? Prior support, resistance, resistance, resistance. Broke down. Sorry, prior support, 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 support. Break down. Now act as resistance, reject right there, and then roll over. Now we are coming back up to it again, so it's going to act as resistance. So let's see how it trades there here. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if it goes a little bit sideways around these levels. And if it comes up here, right, there's another resistance, very clear resistance here. So let's say it comes around here, right, and then wait for that earnings so come in, right? Earnings are, most of the next items are going to be coming later in April, towards the end of the month. So not that far away, right? 2-3 weeks away. Market goes a little bit sideways, right? Where I talked about this potentially going a little bit sideways around here, 2-3 weeks. The next thing you know, if earnings are coming great, right, we're probably going to be looking at all-time highs. Earnings don't come in good, we're probably going to be rolling down back to test these lows around these levels. So let's see how it goes, which kind of coincides with the price action, right? We're coming up to resistance, and it can chill a little bit, consolidate a little bit for the bulls, and wait for that earnings. So, all right, let's look at Amazon. So did not expect this at all, but we broke out of this sideways range on that gap, and next thing you know, when it breaks a range, we are into this level now, so this next level. So yeah, now we're just trading around this range. So for me, similar idea. Amazon is a range asset, So this also could just kind of range around here for that earnings come in, which is very good for the bulls, because if you make 20% move in like 2 weeks, what you want to see is consolidation, right? You want to see some healthy consolidation, build some structure here for the gear up for essentially for the next move higher. Exactly what the bulls want to see. But no signs of red flags. We broke literally above every resistance. This whole resistance here at this 215, it was this whole block in this lows, and now we're just right above this level now, around the 238. So no signs of red flags. A little bit overbought, but it would be nice if it kind of just consolidate, chills a little bit, and wait for the earnings. All right, Microsoft. So this, not that great look, right? We ripped off the lows, and then that was it. That was kind of like a 1 day thing. But that being said, I talked about IGV earlier, the software breaking to new lows. So technically speaking, Microsoft is still relative strength compared to IGV, because IGV kind of bounced a little bit as well here, and IGV went 3 days lower this week. IGV is trading around like here. Actually, IGV broke this low too, so IGV is trading like around here, right? It was kind of like a 3 day down day like this week. So Microsoft is holding a little bit better. So if IGV does that breakdown, no follow through in the V shape, this is going to go higher, right? And if this just bounces all the way to, let's say, 430, right? If earning comes in okay, CapEx is a little bit better, less cloud fear comes to the 430, right? That's going to help the Qs quite a darn bit, right? 18% up on this $3 trillion name. It's going to drag the Qs up quite a lot. So this is kind of like a pathway to all-time highs for the Qs if Microsoft starts bouncing a little here as well. All right, so Google. No signs of red flags, right? Talked about this being a monthly higher low as well. Strongest stock there is. Barely retraced even like 30%. Monthly move, setting a monthly higher low just like the market. And then next thing you know, we V-shape. So yeah, no signs of red flag here. Strongest name out of the Max 7s, and market is still strong itself. So this one I wouldn't short at all or fight this at all. So no signs of red flag. See if we make new all-time highs soon. All right, so Apple here. Apple here is just doing its range, right? Tightening range. We've been looking at it together for a while. Big move up, go down, doesn't break the prior lows. Big move up doesn't break the prior highs. This big move down did not break the prior lows. It literally held 3 times. Now it's moving up towards the higher range of the tightening range. Let's see if it continues to tighten and wait for its earnings. Maybe it'll tighten up, and then earnings comes in, and it was really good, right? Tightening range bull break, or really bad tightening range bear break. So let's see how it goes. All right, NVIDIA. So this is the sign that I'm talking about for SMH. So it broke every pivot here until this last one, right? This one hold. So there's a lot of stops here, stop out, stop out, stop, stop out. When this was over here, we don't know this is going to be a lower low, no follow through, right? But after it broke down out of this longer term support where everybody's looking at together, right? Support, 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 multiple support for many months, over almost half a year or longer. It should have followed through a lot more, right? It didn't. This reversed, and guess what? On the Tuesday, we back tested again. Reverse, back test, bounce. Okay, that just shows me that this was a breakdown with no follow through there, right? Reverse, back test, bounce, and next thing you know, we're back up in the higher range here. So for semiconductors to not follow through, where we talked about SMH last week as well, similar price action. NVDA is the largest holding SMH. It did the same thing. So for a whole sector of semiconductors to break down with no follow through and then V-shaped bounce, back test and bounce, that just tells me, market's not going to go lower. So as well as like IWM, right, the small caps didn't even go down that much. If risk assets are not even going down that much, the market is likely not going to go down that much. So overall, those are a couple of keys key points that I showed you guys last week. And have a great rest of you guys' weekend. I will do the commodities update tomorrow. And take care.